We spent this whole week diving into what I call the electric Spacs. Electric vehicle startups that are coming public through reverse mergers with special purpose acquisition companies. And by the way, I like Spacs. You know what? You invest in a person, you invest in an idea. It's okay. The whole other process seems a little cumbersome in retrospect. With a couple of notable exceptions, most of these names have already had enormous runs, including some staggering moves last month, even as the whole group did roll over earlier this week. Generally speaking, I think they are too expensive. There are some outliers, though, that I've been willing to endorse, though, like Arrival, the British company that's working on electric vans and buses with a revolutionary approach to manufacturing that should keep their vehicle costs competitive with old-fashioned combustible engine-powered alternatives. That's a big advantage. Hey, by the way, same goes for Luminar. See that one, Luminar Technologies? That makes LiDAR collision detection systems for autonomous driving. We recommended that one a couple of days ago, and the stock is now surging 74% for the past 2 days. And that's better than a takeover. It's once that Spac merger closes, which is why we timed the piece. I know these things are really hard to get your arms around. They take a long time for us to get right, but we're trying to do it for you, okay? The most important part, I think the speculative EV stocks now are too expensive after moves like that. So what we got to dig even harder, right? That's why tonight I've got one for you that I think is at a very different trajectory, that still represents opportunity. I'm talking about Canoo, and I'm going to spell it, C-A-N-O-O. That is coming public via reverse merger with Hennessy Capital Acquisition Corp. Hennessy currently trades under the symbol HCAC, but once the Canoo deal closes, they'll take that name, and the stock will trade as CNOO. Now, there are a couple things that really set this thing apart, and I like them. First and foremost, Canoo's gotten a lot less buzz than its electric fellow travelers. And frankly, I don't know why. I don't know how the buzz starts. I mean, maybe is it Reddit? I'm asking the people who are 9 in the room, the 12-year-old. Is it Reddit? Okay. Thank you. Hennessy Capital was trading at $10 and change before they announced the Canoo deal in mid-September. And when the news broke, it rallied all the way to 13. See, that's nothing compared to the insane rallies you typically see when electric vehicle startups agree to join forces with Spac. And then the stock quickly sank back to the $10 level. Even when the whole electric cohort caught fire last month, Hennessy Capital merely rallied back to 13. After all the turmoil this week, including a more than 10% gain today, it's once again at 13. 13! Long story short, the Canoo-Hennessy tie-up may be the least hyped electric vehicle play in the market. And that is kind of crazy. After I tell you all the great things it's got going for it, you're going to say, buy, buy, buy! Which brings me to the second thing that sets this one apart. Like Arrival, the British outfit that's developing modular electric vans and buses that can be produced on the cheap, Canoo's taken what they describe as a skateboard approach to designing electric vehicles. So what's the skateboard? Okay, the skateboard is basically a plug-and-play chassis with all the critical components: wheels, a motor, drivetrain, steering wheel, but no top. That's right, it's totally exposed. When you look at the video, it could pass for some kind of a weird off-road vehicle, like a Polaris thing. This skateboard is the basis of Canoo's modular design platform. You can take this chassis and plug it into different cabins. They call them top hats. It could be a van, it could be a pickup truck, it could be a sedan. Thanks to their plug-and-play skateboard, management says they can develop new vehicles in as little as 18 to 24 months at a much lower cost than the competition. Some of these things take 4 or 5 years. Canoo's on track to launch their first vehicle in 2022, not that far from now. The electric minivan is purpose-built around a subscription revenue model, which is different from a lease because you can apparently walk away at any time. By 2023, they want to roll out a business-to-business delivery vehicle focused on last-mile shipping. Then we know there's huge demand for that in the age of e-commerce. Now, when you see a company that's trying to do something different, you need to make sure they actually know what they're doing. Nikola was trying to do something different, and it blew up in your face when we found out that the founder kept making some ill-advised decisions. How about that? But Canoo has good bloodlines. The company is led by a fellow by the name of Ulrich Kranz, K-R-A-N-Z. He's an experienced veteran of the auto industry with more than 30 years of experience at BMW, along with a whole crew of former BMW compatriots who worked on BMW's electric sub-brand. Kranz and his team successfully designed and manufactured a prototype in just 19 months. They've already done more than 50 physical crash tests on the skateboard chassis. Oh, and just like Arrival, the high-quality electric SPAC play I told you about last night, Canoo has buy-in from major established players. They've already got a partnership with Hyundai to develop an all-electric platform based on Canoo's proprietary skateboard architecture. Unlike Arrival, though, Canoo's plan is to outsource most of its production to contract manufacturers. Some people will say, no, I want that myself. I don't want anything outsourced. Okay. I mean, this is much more of an asset-light business model. You know what it's like? It's like, remember we profiled Fisker? People like that. In my Twitter feed, all people are calling it Jim Fisker Kramer. It's another one of these electric SPAC plays that also run by a highly experienced car guy. And my wife looked at it and said, we got to get a Fisker. I said, well, it's actually the Ocean. I said, we're not buying a Fisker. But I am reminded that some of these things, including this one, the Canoo, just great looking. If you want more detail on the project, we can give it to you. Canoo was actually highlighted on an episode of Jay Leno's Garage this past summer. It's a 41-minute long video, but if you have time, you get a great overview of the skateboard platform, the motor, and the go-to-market strategy. And why do I want that? Because if you're going to buy it, and I think you should, if you've watched this, when it goes down, or if it goes down, you'll say, no, I remember, I watched the video. Now, I know you probably don't have 41 minutes. I know I don't to show it to you right now, but I want to give you a quick rundown of the business plan. Canoo, as it's currently configured, is already making money by selling its engineering services to the big automakers. Then in 2022, they're launching that electric minivan. They call it the lifestyle vehicle, and they plan to sell it on a subscription basis. You get the car and a bunch of related services bundled into single monthly payments. Sounds like a lot like a lease to me, except they cut the banks out of the process. Everybody does smarter things than when I was growing up. Which was, around the time of the Civil War. In 2023, they're rolling out an actual van for business customers, their last mile delivery vehicle. And that one they intend to just sell, no subscription required. By 2025, they want to introduce a sports car using the same chassis. All right, that's a long way off. But in the meantime, we got something cooking here. Financial projections, are there? Yes. Unlike normal IPOs, companies that go public via reverse mergers can give you pie-in-the-sky forecasts about how much money they can make in the future, which explains some of the hype you get from these electric SPAC plays. Couldn't do it in a regular offering. But the numbers from Canoo, I thought they were pretty reasonable. Management believes they can make $120 million in revenue next year just from their contract engineering business. That's pretty big. They're basically having automakers pay them to license their skateboard design, and the company already has 7 of these projects in the pipeline. Once they start production in 2022, they see sales climbing to $329 million, before exploding to $840 million in 2023, and then $1.4 billion in 2024. To hit those numbers, they need to produce 10,000 lifestyle units in 2022, 25,000 in 2023, and 50,000 in 2024. Like I've said, with all these electric SPAC plays, this stock will be a rocket ship if they can come anywhere close to those forecasts. That is a mighty big if. The problem is, we have no idea how much faith to put in the projections. There could be all sorts of unexpected roadblocks. But on the other hand, Canoo's got great management. They're already making money from this contract engineering business. They put together what they call the first true steer-by-wire system. That's where the steering wheel and the actual wheels are only connected by electronics, not mechanical components. Hyundai's on board with that. On the other hand, you'll have to wait until 2022 for production to start, and we don't know how customers will react to Canoo's modular design philosophy. In other words, it's far from perfect, but again, watch the Jay Leno's Garage so you know what you're dealing with. You know what? With Hennessy Capital, the SPAC they're merging with, they're trading just $13 and change. This thing's one of the cheapest electric vehicle plays out there, not just the dollar, man. I'm talking about the market value. The bottom line, the Canoo-Hennessy merger is getting no love from Wall Street, which is why I think it's safe to dip your toe in at these levels if you want to speculate. Then I buy even more if it pulls back to that $10 level. Just be prepared for some serious volatility as we get closer to the deal. Joy in Florida. Joy.
Hi, how are you?